Hello all of you awesome people out there, and welcome back to another super awesome mecha wicked cool video done by myself, Disowned Hero. And as you can see, today we're going to be testing out the new Eden ship lineup, or at least the frigate and the cruiser. I'm going to do a whole new video on the battleship and we'll get into why in a minute. So yeah, these ships, they are out on the test server. You can mess around with them, you can have a fly about, you can see how they're roughly going to be fitted, what you could use them for, all that kind of good stuff. But just remember, this is on the test server, they're not technically live yet, so things could change before they actually hit the Tranquility live server. It is Tranquility, isn't it? Yeah, Tranquility is the live one. Yeah, so I've got Blakey and Xbox with me. We're going to have a few little skirmishes. We're going to have a few tests to do a bit of PvE and these kind of things, and a good chat about how we feel about them. And we'll just go from there. Nice relaxed little video today, just testing a new ship out. So I am right now sitting in. I'm going to bring. Don't need to bring on. I'm sorry. I need to bring the info up to make sure I get the names right. I am currently sitting here in Skybreaker. I didn't name the ships, so I don't have to feel guilty about that. But yeah, we are sitting in Skybreaker, which is the frigate. Gets a 6% bonus to all shield resistances and a 5% bonus to small upwell weapon damage. We'll get into the weapons in a minute. And I also have with me a couple of these bad boys as well. If we share the info, this is called Stormbringer. Again, super original name, really loving the names. It gets a 6% bonus to all shield resistances and a 5% bonus to medium upwell weapon damage. So these upwell weapon damages then, we'll get rid of that and actually bring the fit up for the ship. So the info on that. This is the new weapon system and it works a little bit differently as you'd imagine to any other weapon in the game. This weapon essentially has an area of effect damage kind of blast radius. It acts like lightning and essentially it conducts through other ships. With minimum skills, you can actually hit up to 5 ships with this, even though you're only actually shooting at one. And there is pros and cons to that, which again we'll get into soon. So I've obviously just gone for the faction one because I don't actually have the skills yet for the T2, which is a shame. But yes, we'll be using the faction one and we'll just see basically how it goes. And obviously there's a medium version as well for the medium ship we'll be using. So I'm just going to unmute myself here, there we go, and get everyone who's with me to say hi. Everyone say hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello. Blake has obviously disappeared. Alright, so is everyone actually in now and ready to go?
Yeah, I'm at the sun.
Just
waiting for you.
Sorry, no, never mind. I am here.
Good to know, Blakey. Right, I would like to do some fighting in these first. I think that's a cool way to go. Everyone wants to see how capable these ships are at PvP. So we will go out and we'll demonstrate the weapons on each other. And just demonstrate how they work, to be honest. So if you all want to meet at the sun.
Already here waiting for the new EDENCOM ships to appear.
Ooh, that's right, you're not in an EDENCOM ship, are you? In something else?
No. I mean, saying that these ships were made to destroy. Let's see if they can destroy them.
Ooh. Guys, it's also worth me pointing out that I am on the test server, so all the settings have gone to default. I'm even playing this on one screen because I'm lazy and I can't bother setting everything up again. So bear with me if I don't know where buttons and options and stuff are. I mean, right now I'm struggling to find the sun. There it is. Right, let's walk to the sun. So these new weapon systems, like I was just saying, Blakey, we've been testing these for a little while, haven't we? We've spent a few hours with them already, and we've kind of come up with one big drawback for this weapon type, and that is they deal damage to friendlies. Whether you like it or not, you could have nothing but enemies locked up, you can be all fleeted up in the same corp. If you shoot at an enemy, and the enemy is within 10 kms, I think it is, with basic skills. If the enemy is within 10 kms of a friendly, when this weapon kind of links up and starts doing its area of effect thing, hitting other things, it can easily hit other friendlies. And we can demonstrate that quite easily. Blakey, you're within 3 kms of me. Oh, sorry, 3 kms of me. And you're in my corp.
Can I just stop everyone for 1 second? Remember, we haven't got friendly fire being illegal anymore.
Ooh, good point, yeah. Alright, we'll have to do this in low. Alright, let's go to low. Everyone jump FA escate. It's easy to demonstrate in there.
Warp drive active.
Yeah, so anyway, we'll be able to show the chain in effect anyway. As if we can all shoot each other.
Well, what I've come across now, the weapon seems to take into account things like your safety settings, so it still won't. If your settings are on green, it won't arc. But if you set your settings to red, it will.
Does that include low and null as well?
No, I think it's following, you know, what will allow you to become criminal and that kind of thing. I think
Yeah.
for whatever weird reason, it seems based on your actual security, or your settings rather, be it green, amber.
Xbox, is this one of your orcas? It is one of your orcas just sitting there. If we go for the sun again, everyone wants to warp to the sun.
Warp drive active.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. I think it's if you do accidentally have your safety set to red and you're in high sec, and I've seen it during the server testing today, which I'll put up now if I've got the footage still, and it's a decent clip. Yeah, if your safeties are red and you go to high sec and shoot this thing, even if you're shooting at a criminal, it will automatically chain and hit, well, non-flashies, non-criminals, and get you concorded, which is always fun. Accidentally concorded yourself.
And
Right.
Diamond.
Good man. Right, so the easiest way to demonstrate this is if I form a fleet with Blakey. Can I form a fleet with you? Why don't I have a form a fleet option? Oh, that's right, it's because it's down here.
Everything's disappeared and gone in strange places.
It has, yeah. So I'm going to form a fleet with you. There you go. So we're in a fleet. My safeties are set to yellow like they would be. If I was in low sec hunting someone in like a small gang, you'd have them set to yellow. And we've come across Xbox here. So I'm just going to do the usual thing of locking them up. Don't shoot back or anything, Xbox. I'm just demonstrating the weapon in a second. So
Okie dokie.
and I'm just going to shoot him. Wait, why can't I shoot that? External factors are preventing your small from responding to this command. Have they changed it?
Just put your safeties to red. Xbox, stay still a minute. Put your safeties to red and retry.
I mean,
Your security status has been lowered.
ah, that's strange that, because I should only need to go suspect, not criminal.
The weapon, no, because you're going to hit me. Oh,
Yeah, but
actually,
that would make me suspect. Ah, but sorry, as we can see anyway, if we look at Blakey, I am shooting Xbox. Do not have Blakey locked up at all. He's in my fleet. I don't want to be hitting him, but the area of effect kind of way this weapon works by hitting one and it chains to another one. It is hitting Blakey even though I don't want it to, and there is nothing I can do to stop that at all. I mean, even now Xbox is already flashy. And now that I'm flashy, if I try and change my safety to yellow, can I shoot at him now? No. Alright, so maybe they've changed it, like literally today, that it has to be on red, because we could do this yesterday when it was yellow.
Can I try something? Let me move
Just
out of range of here of Xbox, so you'll no longer be hitting me, and then see if you can hit him on yellow.
Go on, yeah. Xbox, stay still if you can, mate.
I don't know what the arcing range is, but you should be clear now. See if you can now hit him on yellow.
No, external factors are preventing your weapon from responding. So that does sound like they've changed it, so you have to be red.
I'm now 15k from Xbox. Just try once more.
No, still nothing.
Strange. It's definitely changed from yesterday then.
Yeah, that has changed. So I was going to demonstrate that you can kind of negate that effect by changing your safety. So if you're in high sec and you have it to green or yellow, then your weapon would arc, but it wouldn't arc to anything that would make you go criminal. But obviously they've changed that now, so it must have to be on red, even in low sec. I mean, we could go to null later, maybe jump after the video and test it out. But yeah, as you can see, if I shoot Xbox now, it's actually still... Is that still arcing off you as well? Oh no, you're shooting as well.
No, I'm not shooting him. I'm not doing anything.
Right, well... Oh, sorry, I'm looking at you, not me. That's why I'm looking going, well, I'm not shooting. Yeah. So yeah, that is the... that is the weapon. That's kind of how it works. And yeah, that is the biggest flaw with it, is that it shoots Now, PvP wise, oh sorry, it shoots friendlies. PvP wise, that is a massive, massive deal in my eyes. So, especially when you're talking frigates, and Blake, you'll back me up with this. When you're doing frigate stuff, it does tend to be close quarters within 5 or 6 kms most of the time. If something's kitey, it's still usually only about 20 kms away. So you could easily, unavoidably, with this ship in a little fleet, be shooting your own people, your own drones, because it does go to drones as well. If there's no ships about, it will like kind of burst off and hit drones. You could easily just take half your fleet out.
I was just going to say that because by nature of the low DPS, yourself, you can kind of soak the damage up, but
Yeah.
you're almost negating any use for drones, because like the drones can't. Like a couple of volleys off them does actually a significant amount of damage to drones.
And that's another thing I haven't even mentioned yet, is actually how much damage this ship does. Now, when I was on the test server, CCP was saying that it's not that the damage is low. The alpha, as you can see there on mine, is 211, which compared to other frigates, 211 is about right, but it's the cycle time, how fast this weapon fires, and it's a slow firing weapon. So even though it's 211 HP coming from one weapon, it still only equals 50 DPS, which is low. But what you have to remember is that this thing can chain with minimum skills. I don't know what it can go up to with max skills, but minimum skills, if you're hitting 5 enemies, that 50 DPS suddenly becomes split across, oh sorry, that 50 DPS adds up to 100 DPS when you're hitting 2, 150 when you're hitting 3, 200, 250 DPS when you're hitting 5 things, but it is split across 5. So the DPS, yeah, it's like you said, it's quite low, isn't it? The actual DPS, not the alpha, but the DPS is low.
The DPS is low, and against a single ship, like I don't see a world where it does well. Now, again, like, as you know, I've run a few missions today, and if we get those 5 frigates, 5 5 destroyers, whatever, in a nice tight group, it's brilliant, because when you're applying that low level of DPS to everything, all of a sudden, you know, that's ramping up nicely, and you're not just killing one. When you kill one, you kill all 5.
Yeah.
But you know, it's very situational. That's probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah, it does seem there's going to be some hickory-jickory is going to have to be done, like for fleet compositions and stuff, to account for these. One thing I do think though, and I was saying it earlier, if this was mixed in with one other frigate, if it had, it's hard to explain. If this was teamed up with a succubus, say you went out as a pair, and there was one succubus and this, and you came up against one other person, or maybe 2, or even maybe a small fleet of like 3, executioners or something. Once people know what these ships are about, and they don't simply just focus it down because it's expensive and new, and once they actually start playing the game, I would say properly, but once they start focusing, trying to get as much DPS off the grid as normal, which is typically how fleets go, I could see these things not being touched, because the actual damage they're doing is that low that most fleets would go for the succubus first. Just as an example, if it was this and a succubus, they would go, okay, we've had the, what's it called again? What's the stupid name of this one? There's a Skybreaker here. They'll be like, okay, Skybreaker and a succubus has just walked in, right, focus the succubus, because that hits hard, that's doing the most DPS, take that off grid. And while they're messing around trying to kill the succubus, this thing is just plinking away, waiting, then plinking away again, and plinking away. And I could see this thing actually doing some real damage.
I think you're right in that point, because obviously normally there's one primary that's getting hit, and then you move to the next. Now, as you say, this thing's plinking away, so all of a sudden when you jump to your next target, it's already been weakened.
Yeah.
And it's very, very good at negating drones. The only problem with incorporating it into a fleet, I think, is like you have to accept yourself. You can't take anything that relies on drones yourself.
Yeah. Because you have no control over it. Yeah.
Exactly. You've got no way to actually direct the weapon. It's going to hit what it's going to hit. And the other side of that, you're also going to have to consider range. So again, it comes back to it being situational. I feel like it could be a fantastic asset, but I do feel like you would have to very, very carefully plan a fleet around it. Whereas, like, normally it's just, I'll grab what you want. It's short range, mid range, long range, whatever. I think if you're going to take these to the fleet, you would really, really need to plan the fleet carefully.
Yeah,
that'll come eventually, won't it? And especially with the short range of these as well, you can't even be like, I'll put them up front or behind and have them shooting past, because the range is, I mean, max range on this is 16, isn't it? Pretty sure I've got the long range in at the moment.
No, I want to say 30, the long range. Yeah, short range is 15. Long
Oh,
range is
I've
30.
put 2 short range. Right, what we can do now, Blakey, because obviously I want to try and keep this video a little bit tight. If you go into your probe scanner, you should see a Serpentis Forlorn site.
Yeah.
Combat site. Can you warp there with me? Xbox, feel free to join if you want, but warp there at 0. I'm going to warp there now. And I just want to show people like how this thing does actually excel at something, which is PvE. Might not be the quickest thing at doing it, but it has a whole new way of doing combat sites and missions and stuff. Whereas rather than focusing one ship after another ship after another ship, you shoot one ship and then you take that one ship out and you look and you're like, Joe, it's already taken something else out, and it's already taken this out, and it's already done that. Okay, maybe this wasn't the best combat site to come to since it's all battleships. I'm gonna shoot them anyway.
Okay, I'll join you.
Just because I can. Just to because we'll see the I haven't got a long range because I'm clever. We'll see the full effect here now of just how cool this thing can arc.
But again, something you might notice here. Ships don't
Ooh, I've just noticed I can't lock anything unless I'm 8,000 meters from it.
Are you being disrupted or something? Because I'm not having that problem.
Oh yeah, I am. Just right there.
Now, this ship, it's capable of taking cruisers. Like, I'm in the process of taking 3 cruisers down at once.
Yeah, and then once mine gets on as well.
It could be worth us maybe finding a slightly less aggressive site, or frigates, rather than cruisers and battleships.
Yeah, let's see if I can. Is there any mining sites here? I'm gonna go to an asteroid belt, see if I can just find like frigates or destroyers or something not as battleshipy to test this out on. We only one jump into low. I didn't expect it to be a full fleet of battleships sitting there.
We could have a quick look back in the name, maybe with the Serpentis hideaways or something.
Sounds good, mate. Yeah. Do you want to jump name and have a look? I'll see if I can find. Oh, here you go. I've found 2. This'll do just to demonstrate it. I mean, T1 and T2 missions. You're not really talking much above a cruiser anyway, are you?
No.
Yeah. So I'm in one now. It's got two destroyers. Not particularly the best high damage ships or tankiest ships. But as you can see now, when I shoot this thing, I've knocked one to 26% shield. I've knocked the other one to 26% shield. One's in 57% armor. The other one is also in 57% armor. And yeah, I'm basically just taking 2 out for the price of 1. And if you imagine it was 5 here, that would be 5 I'd be taking out for the price of 1. So for missions, especially level 1s, I've done level 1 mission in this and it just nailed it. I used to go to the Kikimori as my default mission running ship for like level 1s and 2s and possibly 3s, but I think I might be changing to these just for like the way the weapon works.
It's a combination too. They're very, very tanky as well. Like level 1 missions they'll laugh at, no issue at all. Yeah. Level 2 missions, again, no bother with them. There's, as you get bigger, you've got like, you can tank the damage off a cruiser all day, but then you start coming into the problem of it's taking you an awful long time to kill them.
It is, yeah.
You'll never die. It's just a patience game at that point.
I am going to dock up. It's worth noting as well that this fit, by the way, for everyone watching. Obviously, there is no standard way of fitting these yet. They're still brand new. I kind of just went for as much damage as I can down here and a bit of a passive tank. Since we're just testing, I don't need to worry about having a disruptor because we're not going to run away. We're testing it. And since everyone tests it, it's super cheap. It doesn't matter if you do kill each other, so we just kind of stay and fight. But obviously, in reality, I would drop a shield extender if I was doing PvP, put a disruptor or a scram or something on there. Right, so I'm just going to jump back now, go get into the cruiser. Okay guys, so I am back in its ship, and it is definitely worth pointing out that this was made sheerly for the mass test they did. So they wanted lots of people in these shooting each other to test the effects, how it would work on the server, so if the server could actually handle like 300, 400 of these. So I literally maxed it out for tank. For the kinetic and for the EM, which is the damage the ships deal, and I put 2 shield boosters on it as well. So a completely unrealistic fit. Ideal for what it was doing. The idea was I did not want to go to this mass test, have them say, right, everyone shoot and just get alpha straight off the grid. So I wanted to stay for the entire test. So I did max it out in a weird kind of way. But I'm not going to refit it now. We can kind of get the gist of how this thing works. It's essentially the frigate, but bigger. and it has a lot better range as well, which I think will work a hell of a lot better when it comes to fleet stuff. Where am I? Why is the asteroid here? Where's the sun? There it is. So yeah, if we just load it up, as you can see, I mean, there's been some rumours, and a lot of my guys in Corp actually said when we were going through Reddit forums and posts and stuff, that this was meant to deal omni damage, so kinetic, EM, thermal, and explosive. But on the test server, and considering they've done tests now and it's due to go live in like 2 weeks or something like that, it's only showing us doing EM and kinetic, so I'm pretty sure that is the damage it's going to be dealing. Again, everyone's up for change because this is the test server, but at the moment, as it stands, it does only EM or kinetic. And there's two different types of ammo, one that deals mainly kinetic, one that deals mainly kinetic, a long range and a short range. Oh, sorry, that's the long range, that's the short range, if I've got that right. And then one that mainly deals EM, and again, long range and a short range. So if we just load up the long range, I think I put in. Yeah, the long range, we can reach out to 78 km. So my skills are not maxed in these by any means. About level 3, I think, for damage is about as far as I've got with it. So that could probably be improved, especially if we start putting rigs and stuff on. And if we go for the short range, it's 40 km. So the long range in particular, being able to reach out to 70 km, that, as I said, is going to work a lot better in fleets, because the way I read it, if we just show the info on this, actually, which I probably should have done before, if we show the info, it's on the turrets. There we go. So the arc chain, which is like targets it's going to hit around the original target you've shot at, is 10 kms, and the arc chain targets is 5. Now this is basic skills, this can go up, so that can go higher, that can go higher as well. So if I shoot Xbox and he's 70 kms away from me, anything that's 10 kms away from him will be hit, and everyone who's actually right next to me, presumably again 70 kms away from the target I'm shooting at, will be perfectly fine. So with the extra long range of these ships, I think they'll work a lot better in fleets than the frigates. And I presume the battleship, which again I'm going to cover in a later video, hits out just a little bit further as well. So again, a lot more practical to try and negate that accidentally shooting each other kind of stuff. So we're just going to wait for Blakey to come back.
Blakey is back.
Blakey is back. We are at the sun, and we have Xbox here, who's actually sitting in a Gilla. And Blakey's in the same fit as me, by the way. I've just handed him one of these, so again, not ideal fits, kind of maxed out for stupid damage and stuff. Xbox, what's your optimal range on that thing?
I've got no weapons on it, it's just basically fitted for the tank.
Okay, so you put it, alright, so we'll see what two of these can do to a Gilla. Like I say, I still think these will massively excel as kind of fleet support, mix it in with a few other things, and just hope that they don't just alpha it down straight away, because if it is left for a little while, it would, one, completely confuse the logi of the enemy fleet, because they won't know who the logi and who's actually being focused, but two, yeah, the damage will over time eventually start to pay dividends.
Are we shooting long range or short range, mate?
I am within 30 of them, so I've just gone for short range.
I can't see him. Am I at the wrong sun?
We're in FASE, F-A-S-S-E.
Then I'm at the wrong sun, my
You're at
apologies.
the wrong sun. Right, well, I'll just test it with one. You're our shield tank, aren't you, Xbox? Have you got a shield?
Hell yeah.
Have you got a shield booster on that, or is it passive?
Shield module, shield adaptive hardness, so you can shoot me as much as you want. This thing's got almost 30,000 EHP.
Well, I'm going to shoot you then.
Tick.
And I'm just tickling you. So I'm hitting for 319, 316. I mean, a Gilla, to be honest, there's very few ships I would solo a Gilla in, unless I knew for sure he was definitely ratting and not PvP fit, or if I knew for sure, I can massively outgun him because I'm fit in to fight a Gilla. I wouldn't in any ship usually fight one. But yeah, we can see, especially if you were shooting back by now, I'd be goofed. I wouldn't know what to do.
Let's just see, I got some rockets.
I am quite consistently hitting you at 316 now, so that's quite cool. This weapon as well works almost like missiles. Probably should have mentioned this at the beginning, but it works like missiles. It's not a turret, so you don't have to worry about tracking. You don't have to worry about like fall off or anything like that. As long as they're in range, this weapon will always hit. The things that negate damage are the signature radius of the ship you're shooting at, the speed, and basically everything that would affect missiles. So if you've got a battleship shooting battleship sized, what are these called again? Voltron cannons or something? Yeah, Vorton, sorry. If you've got a battleship shooting Vorton cannons, and you're trying to hit a frigate that's moving at like 5,000 meters a second, you're not going to be doing any damage to it. You won't be tickling it, but you will at least be hitting it, which is good.
It's an awkward on that because with most missile things you can just go, okay, I'll use a target painter, but there's nothing that'll bloom the radius of 5 targets, is there, at once?
Yeah, you'd kind of have to have everyone fitted with a target painter and say like everyone's target paint, so everything in the bottom of the fleet or something. I don't know. You'd have to figure out a way to coordinate that.
Even the 2 of us said this ship just is never going to excel against a single target.
No, you'd definitely. I think this would have to be. Just call it off Xbox because I can hardly hear myself talking. It's so loud. Oh, I need to set my headphones down. There we go. Yeah, I still think these
I'll
are
turn it
massively.
off, but it's still going up. Probably.
That's the point. I'm zoomed right in. If I zoom out, I'd be able to hear myself.
Probably help.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say now. Yeah, it's gone. Whatever I was going to say, it's gone. Oh, so that's it, yeah. So I still think these would massively excel with, like, say 2 of us now, and if you've got a fleet of 7, so we'd have us 2, we'd have you one or maybe 2 fast tackle ships, but then you'd have 3 or 4 omens. I can't actually think of any other cruisers off the top of my head because my mind's gone blank. But you'd have other like ruptures and stuff with you to do the main damage, and then these things just plinking away and just slowly just adding the damage up over everything.
Well, as it stands now, every shot I'm hitting Xbox at 552.
Yeah, I've turned the adaptive hardeners off.
Yeah, well, regardless of the figure. So that by itself isn't overly impressive. But if there was 5 gearless sat there, you know, you all of a sudden you're dealing thousands of DPS, and again, all right, it's spread, but you're still dealing that sort of damage.
Yeah, because it would be 316, 316, 316, 316, 316, and 5 different things at the same time. So you add all that up, you are, on paper at least, dealing a huge amount of damage. It's just spread across like 5 different things.
And obviously, like, as you've said before, like, we're not highly skilled in these ships by any stretch, so you're going to improve a lot of that just through skills.
Yeah.
The fact that it's a single gun module, if you overheat that module, you're going to get 15% reduction in cycle time, and the heat damage is almost nothing due to the fact that there's only that one module there. So you could heat that you could probably heat it for an entire mission and not burn the gun out. So straight away, there's an easy improvement there.
And he puts the actual DPS up there by about 20. Does increase the overall damage though, like per shot to about 1,000, I think. Was it?
It's cycle time, I believe, it improves by about 15%.
Oh, is it? That's probably better if I just simulated that.
It is.
Yeah, it's just a cycle time.
It's a 15% cycle bonus, which is, again, that's actually quite significant because it's not against 1, it's against 5. So you're doing that level of damage 15% quicker every time.
Yeah. You said I've not messed too much of these other than on the mass test and like what we're doing now. You said you took one of these for a level 4 mission and it just nailed it.
It could complete it. What I would say is, like, due to the bonuses it gets and the way you set it up, like, it can soak the damage up all day. You run into this problem again with the limited DPS. Like, you will definitely complete level 4 missions in a cruiser, or this specific cruiser, which is really good for any cruiser. Time-wise, that's where it gets a bit tricky because this will take the frigates and cruisers no problem at all. Battleships, if by some chance you're getting really close, then it's not as bad because you hit a few at once, but it could be a bit of a long, drawn-out process. And similar with the frigates, like, I ran a level 3 mission in a frigate, so depending on the price, you know, they could be great value for money, but it takes a long time. And again, a lot of the missions are things like destroy this bunker. It's a really well-armored thing, and that's where it's going to take a while. Time.
Can you do me a favour, mate? Can you just stop shooting a second?
Certainly can. Not often you ask me that, but you know, I'll do it.
Have a look at your ship. Watch your ship in a second. It should do it, I think. There.
Oh, wow!
I've just realised it's got a firing animation. Not as cool as the Triglavian ones, but it does.
No, but it closes the wings up. Yeah. I do like how well animated.
I wasn't sure if that was on a random cycle doing it, so I thought if I get you to do it, and if yours does the same, then obviously it must be when you're firing. But yeah, the wings move. I wonder if the frigate does that. I never noticed that. It takes about a volley or two for it to open up. It's not the most instant like animation, but it does eventually open up. Almost like the TIE fighters off Star Wars, isn't it? Where they like open up. Or the X-Wing fighters, whatever it's called. Xbox, you're the Star Wars guru. What's the one Luke Skywalker flies that when he's fighting, like the wings open?
X-Wings.
X-Wings. Oh, that makes sense. I didn't know that. Obviously the X-Wing is the one that opens up to an X. But yeah.
It feels like that thing they once said to you. What's that thing that helps recharge your shield? Shield recharger. Oh, yeah, that's it, yeah.
So that's it. So the battleship works the same way. I say I'm not in the battleship yet. I did stop my skill queue because there was an issue where you couldn't get on the test there if you were training skills, and I definitely wanted to get on for the mass test, so I stopped my skills training for like a good day or two. So I would be in it, but I stopped it just in case I couldn't log on. So I'll be in that soon. But Blakey, you said you've been in one, or Xbox said he's been in one, or simulated it. The range isn't too much different from the cruisers, I believe, and the damage obviously is, it just scales up to like obviously.
I've not flown it, but what I have noticed is, whereas the frigate and the cruiser are getting a 6% resist bonus per level, the battleship, I believe, doesn't get that.
Oh, it doesn't? No,
So,
you're right.
This is where it could become a problem. Obviously, it's going to be great at...
Do you know what it gets instead, though?
Frigates.
It gets the bonus to shooting speed.
I worry the battleship is probably going to be the weakest out of the three ships.
You reckon?
Because, well, the weapon itself is... I don't want to say underwhelming because that's not the case, but in the wrong situation, it can be it can be underwhelming, or it can be brilliant. But what it does excel in these ships is tank. As I say, a frigate is flying level 3 missions, and it might be taking a while, but it's not dying. Like I don't know another frigate that can do that. Yeah. Or if it does, then you really have to be piloting it. This can just sit there and laugh. So I think if you start losing that resist, it like the biggest strength of the ship might actually be going away with regards to the battleship.
Yeah, do you know what I've just figured out as well? Other than the fact that if you look at the battleship, it definitely looks like a Star Trek ship with like the blue and red nacelles on the side and just lights everywhere. The reason these don't get drones is they'll blow their own drones up.
Again, that's the problem with integrating it into a fleet, isn't it? Because none of them have drones, and we know why, but...
And we have tested that, guys, and we haven't demonstrated it today, but I got in an Estero, and I had Blakey in the Stormchild. These are ridiculous names. I'm not going to be able to stress how much...
Skybreaker, hero.
Names. Skybreaker, is it? Yeah. So
I
had Blakey in the frigate, and I was in an Estero, and I simply just set my drones onto him, and he was trying to take the drones out. And so even when he was shooting me, it was still charging to my drones, even though he didn't have them locked or anything. And it turns out that the Skybreaker couldn't quite kill an Estero, or couldn't quite take the Estero's drones out before its shield fell. And then once the shield goes, the way we had them fitted anyway, there wasn't much in armour or hull. So solo, I honestly don't know what that thing could solo off the top of my head. Maybe once the fits start getting better and people figure out how they're actually properly meant to be flown, they could take them out solo, but I don't see it working. It's definitely minimum small gang.
I agree. Like, I think PvE, I definitely think they have potential, and obviously we're just scraping the surface. Our skills aren't great in that. Single PvP, I just don't think they're ever going to be viable.
No.
A group PvP, I think with some clever planning maybe around what you're going to fly and how you're going to fly it, maybe there's a potential there as well. Because the first thing that screams out to me is anti-frigate and anti-drone.
Yeah. So
there's potential for them there, I guess.
Especially if you go to the bigger side of this, where you've got 300-400 people, mainly in battleships and fast tackle, and then you've got to worry about the enemies, fast tackle and stuff. You have some of these just shooting the wall of drones that's coming towards you, or the wall of frigates that's hurtling towards you, provided you don't land at zero on each other. Then these could quite easily, as you say, just take so many drones and stuff out before they actually start engaging different fleets.
I definitely look forward to doing some more testing, certainly with more refined fits and that. So like, I've already got what I believe is a better fit from the Skybreaker versus a stereo thing we did the other night.
Yeah.
So I think potentially I could do a little bit better there now. And again, like our skills aren't great, but like they're not. Do you know what? It's great for Eve. They're interesting ships. It's something different. It's new dynamic. So we'll see where it goes.
I'll tell you what's really annoying. And this annoys me, and I don't know why it gets past the planning stage. It's the same as the Concorde ship lineup. They have a drone bay. I can see it. It's there. Why put an animated drone bay on a ship that can't use drones? So that's my first nitpick. It's just why do it? They can't use drones, so why have the drone bay there?
There's at least 3 people with you here that's annoyed.
They do with the
rest of
Concorde
us
ships
looking
because
at
it's
going,
like,
where's the drone bay?
I would look at it from the front, as if you're looking like right into its little cockpit, the red windows at the front, just above it on the top. See the animation for like the field.
Oh, you're right. Actually, it's definitely like a hangar, isn't it?
Yeah, they do the same on the Marshal and the Pacifier and the Enforcer. Pacifier not so much. You can see where they went to put the drone bay, but there's like metal doors have closed it off, and you're like, okay, fair enough, it's like sealed shut. But on the Marshal and the Enforcer, there's an animated drone bay, and it's like, they can't use drones, so why have you put it there? Stop teasing me, because I want drones and I can't have them.
So when I look at them, it just screams either Old Wing Commander or Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
Obviously the position's wrong, but like that sort of shape and things.
Right, so I'm going to cut this off here. It's gone on long enough, I think, a bit of editing to do. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like I say, please stay tuned, because I will definitely be getting the battleship out and doing a whole video on the battleship, because I think the PvE potential is so much better, and I could do a probably 20-minute video of testing it and stuff. So stay tuned for that. If you do like this video, hit the like button down below. Any comments or suggestions on how you think these things should be flown, or like fitting ideas, or like even fleet ideas and stuff, then obviously let me know. And also I'll have Blakey's channel, who I've been flying with tonight, linked in the description. He'll be doing a little joke review on these as well, so might be worth checking out. Mine's obviously going to be better.
Might be worth. It will be worth.
It might be worth. Mine's going to cover everything, but if you want to watch it, so then you could go for it. Bit of a long outro there, but thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you right here very soon in another video. Bye bye. Alright, so it looks like we're finally getting that big kind of open fight I was after. The other fleet is on the other side of this gate. They're waiting for us. We've now been given permission to jump through, and well, you can see there the order is simply just fight. So we might well die in this one, but hopefully I'll get the nice cool visual effects I wanted to see right before the internet died. Right, so they should be here. Just gonna lock up anything. You'll do. Let's just start shooting these. That's the effect I wanted to see. Look at that. It's a little bit laggy. I have lost all frames, but look at that. That makes lasers look dull. That is awesome. That's what I wanted to see. So many frames just gone. They've run away. I have no idea if I'm winning or losing or even shooting at this point, but look at that. That looks immense. That looks awesome. People are saying that Eve's not a pretty game. It is when you start doing stuff like this. Am I actually shooting anything? I am technically shooting him. I'm not doing anything to him, but I am shooting at him. Oh, that's so cool. It's just so cool. Maybe I shouldn't technically sit still. Let's just, I don't know, pick a random dude in the middle. You'll do. We'll just orbit you at like 500, just to get a little bit of speed up. I'm getting bounty payments, so I am killing people, which is always nice. No idea who it is. Obviously this weapon does chain, so the guy I'm targeting is not necessarily the guy actually taking most of the damage. It gets out to 39, so I might need to switch targets here. Let's go for Praxis. Let's get that Praxis involved. Switch for that. Never on that Praxis. Not that I'm actually trying to take him down, I just want to keep my gun going, just so I can keep these cool effects and that up and running. Look at that, look at that, is that going to be a better one? Yes! Yeah, when everyone's all grouped together in like the big blobs, the big balls, these effects don't work. But when you are spread out around a gate like this, that looks, I mean, look at this, look how far out they're going. There's people running away actually. Look at that, that looks immense. Boy, I like it. That's so cool. I thought Triglavian, this in the Triglavian space would be amazing. Oh, that's cool. Over there. Can I spin it around to get them involved? Yes. Yes. That's so cool. I like it. I'm actually dying. Maybe I should get like a few reps or something going. We got both of them going. Actually, I wasn't paying attention. We got both of these up. This was very valuable exercise. Sorry to all who crashed. I didn't crash, I lost internet. My whole house went, unless CCP somehow managed to make my whole house internet go off. So it wasn't technically their fault, it was mine. I'm being shot by a Thunderchild. Still a bit of a weird name now I think about it, but Thunderchild's taking me down. But I'm not leaving. I want to see all these cool effects. I'm not bothered about saving the ship, I have plenty more. No! I'm going down, guys. I don't use shields very often. That takes a long time, doesn't it? Let's overheat these. Not that it's going to do much now because shield is gone. No, I don't want to die yet. No! Oh, that's so cool though. My pod's going to go any second now. You don't even need to lock it. It will just chain. Someone will shoot and it will chain to me and it will go down. There it is. It's going. It's going. Greg, look at that. It looks amazing. There's fireworks in the background. There's lights everywhere. There's white flashes. There's explosions. There's dead bodies everywhere. And that was what I wanted. That seems to have I mean, I think I've been recording for like an hour. All I wanted was that last 5 minutes. That was amazing. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button as well to get some more game guides, how-tos, let's plays and live streams from myself. I also think you should check out this video just up here, but if that one doesn't interest you, then try this one. Other than that, guys, take it easy and I'll see you soon.